conversation about relationships. So when you decide that there's a serious problem in a relationship, how do you have that conversation? How do you make sure you get your point across in a productive way? How do you avoid the yelling and the screaming that can come along sometimes? Our next guest, oh, she said amen. Our next guest, author Jefferson Fisher, has the answers, he believes, in his new book. It's called The Next Conversation, Argue Less, Talk More. With this book, Jefferson offers a tried and true framework that will show us how to transform our life and the relationships we're in by improving conversation. You can also find him on social media offering advice to his followers on how to be better communicators. Take a look.
This is for those about to have a hard conversation. Number one, if you feel nervous about it, good. If you have stress, anxiety, it means you're a good person. Number two, take all that energy and focus on the outcome. That's asking yourself, how do you want the conversation to end? You see, most people wait until they're talking until they figure out what they want to say, and that hurts more than it helps. So if it helps you, write it down beforehand. What is the goal of the conversation? How do you want to feel? How do you want them to feel? And number three, try not to use the word but. It's the word everybody's waiting for in hard conversations. Like, I think you're great, but. Instead, use the phrase, and I also. For example, I think you're great, and I also need to take care of myself.
Well, and I also need to hear more. Please welcome Jefferson Fisher to the conversation. Thank you. Great information. Gosh, congratulations on your book. Have a seat. I mean, you had me at the title, Argue Less, Talk More. I love that in that video you talk about it's okay to be nervous.
Yes.
I think we all know why these tough conversations make us nervous.
Yeah, it's okay to be nervous. Nerves are a good thing. The biggest thing about difficult conversations is understanding that what you say, for the vast majority of people who experience you, is who you are. You can't be a kind person if you don't use kind words. And so too often, you're from Texas, I'm from Texas.
I can hear the accent.
You know, your word is your bond.
Yeah.
And you can change everything when you just change the next conversation.
You know, you talk about focus on the outcome.
Yes.
I think that's where people sometimes get locked up, because sometimes you want the outcome is for the person to do what you want them to do.
Correct. You're focusing on just controlling all aspects of it instead of just focusing on your next sentence. Too often we get in conversations and you don't know where it's going to go. You just began it and started it, and it's not playing out how you heard it in your head while you're brushing your teeth or taking a shower, and all of a sudden it's turning the wrong way and you're going, wait. They're not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
And whenever you start to control that conversation, you're not allowing the opportunities for vulnerability to be able to speak with kindness. It's okay to show them the light as long as you're not dimming your own.
But is it okay to go, when you say focus on the outcome, if you're saying, I want this person to see it my way,
Yes.
and they don't, that is when the arguing starts, or some people feel disrespected, or you're not
Yes.
listening, versus the outcome may be they stand where they stand on this.
Absolutely.
I love that you say it's important, that phrase, I see it differently.
Yes. It's a phrase that you can use anytime when conversation is starting to get rough. When you say, I disagree, or you're not right, or you're wrong, you'll run up into defensiveness. But when you just say, I see things differently, they're not going to get defensive, because it talks about viewpoint rather than trying to force your own opinion. It's okay to focus on the outcome as long as you know where you're going. Well, you've been in those conversations where it feels like it's circular. You're talking about the same thing over and over. They don't know how to land the plane. When you can say, I'd like to talk about what you said last Thursday, and I want to walk away from that conversation feeling heard or understood, or maybe it's, I need to walk away from that conversation knowing that's not going to happen again. You got to give them the outcome of what's going to happen.
Is it okay to revisit is it okay when you're arguing to say, can we pause and revisit this?
Yes, in fact, it's healthy to do that, because you get into conversation where if I'm pushing my time frame, when I say, hey, you got 5 minutes, when really it means—
Oh, my heart started racing.
It means you have 45 minutes for me to kind of just wander around the conversation, not really tell you what I mean.
Yeah.
It's great to revisit a conversation, especially when you're emotionally drained, you're not there, waiting for the kids to go to bed and you're already exhausted after a long day is not the time to have 100% of a conversation. You need to make time for it. Don't give yourself 10% of you for 100% of a conversation.
Ooh. Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to ask Jefferson to give some exclusive advice on our YouTube page. Are you up for that? Because I can tell our audience is ready, because your book is not out until March.
That's right.
You can pre-order his book, The Next Conversation, wherever you buy your books. March 18th is a special day because that book is coming out. But if you would do me the favor, because I think there's so many things to process in what you say, would you give some exclusive content to our YouTube page?
Absolutely, yeah.
I love it. Okay, go to our YouTube channel to get more on The Next Conversation. Pre-order The Next Conversation, Argue Less, Talk More. Jefferson Fisher's new book. We could all use this, right? Yeah. We'll be right back. Oh my God.